Today, we are diving into the essential software you're going to be using all the time, both in school and in your career. Now look, knowing what these applications are is one thing, but knowing exactly which tool to use for a specific job, well, that is a fundamental skill that truly sets professionals apart.
So let's just jump right in with a classic scenario. Imagine you've got a project with 3 totally different parts. You need a written report, a budget that needs calculations, and a final presentation to show it all off. So what do? Do you try to wrestle with one single tool to make it do everything? Or do you pick 3 separate specialized tools? How you answer that question says a whole lot about your digital toolkit.
Here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll talk about the idea of a digital toolkit. Then, we'll explore the 4 big types of applications one by one: word processors, spreadsheets, presentation software, and of course, databases. And then we'll wrap it all up by putting these ideas into action with a practical case study.
Okay, so here's the main idea, the big takeaway. Being successful in pretty much any modern job means you have to know when and why to use a specific tool. It's all about matching the unique power of an application to what the task actually needs. And that, right there, is the difference between just using software and using it like a pro.
So let's kick things off with a tool that's probably the most familiar to all of us, the word processor. Its entire reason for being is built around one thing, and one thing only: managing text.
And the technical definition really says it all, doesn't it? A word processor is software made specifically for creating, editing, and formatting text. We're talking about your essays, your lab reports, your cover letters, your resume. These are the documents where this tool really shines.
And this is exactly how you get that polished, professional look. You have total control over all the little details: the fonts, the colors, the spacing. But it's also about structure. Using things like headings, bullet points, and page numbers helps turn what could be a giant wall of text into a clean, organized, and super readable document.
But these tools have come a long, long way from just basic formatting. Today's word processors are basically collaboration hubs. You can track every single change, you can leave comments, you can even have multiple people writing in the same document at the exact same time. And now, with AI built in, you can get a hand with drafting text or summarizing a long article. Just remember, the AI is your assistant. It's not the final author. You always have to be the one to check its suggestions for accuracy and tone.
All right, let's shift gears to our next tool. We're talking about spreadsheets now, and these are designed for more than just making lists. They are all about organizing and, maybe most importantly, calculating data.
You know what's so powerful about this is just how simple it is. This right here is the DNA of every single spreadsheet on the planet, a grid. You've got columns going down, rows going across, and the spot where they meet is called a cell. Every single piece of information, whether it's a word, a number, or a powerful formula, it lives inside one of these cells. And this is where the magic really starts. The single most powerful thing a spreadsheet can do is use formulas to do calculations for you automatically. I mean, this saves an unbelievable amount of time and cuts down on human error. And from there, you can sort and filter all that data to spot trends, and then, just like that, turn those trends into charts and graphs.
And just like we saw with word processors, AI is getting into spreadsheets, suggesting formulas to help you out, and that's an incredible way to learn. But this quote right here is a critical warning. A tiny mistake in a formula, a wrong cell reference, a little flaw in the logic can give you results that are completely wrong. So you absolutely have to check the AI's work every single time.
Okay, so you've written your report, you've crunched the data, now what? Well, you've got to communicate what you found, and that brings us to tool number 3, presentation software. This is all about guiding an audience through your ideas visually.
The most important word in that whole definition is support. A fantastic presentation doesn't replace you, the speaker, it supports you. The software is there to help you break down complex information into a series of simple visual slides that make your message stronger and keep your audience locked in.
And creating that kind of support, well, it takes some discipline. You want a consistent design, not a random mix of colors and fonts on every slide. You should use images and charts to actually explain things, not just to decorate the page. And this is a big one. Avoid jamming your slides full of text. All those extra details and talking points, that's what your speaker notes are for. Keep the screen clean.
So, you've written the report, you've calculated the numbers, you've built the presentation. But what happens when the amount of data you're working with gets way too big, way too complex for a simple spreadsheet? That's when we bring in the final and most powerful tool in our kit, the database. It's built from the ground up to manage huge, related sets of information efficiently over the long haul.
This is such a critical concept for knowing when it's time to level up. A spreadsheet? Perfect for calculations, data analysis, simple lists. But when that list has thousands of student records or a massive product inventory, when you have multiple tables of information that all need to link together, that's when a database becomes the obvious choice. It's built for storing, searching, and managing structured data at a huge scale.
Now, to really get databases, you have to know 4 key terms. So let's just break them down really quick. First, you have a field. That's just one single piece of information, like first name. Next, you have a record. That's a whole set of fields for one single entry, like all the information for one specific person. Then you group a bunch of related records together into a table. And finally, this is the most powerful part, the query. A query is basically just a very specific question you ask the database. You can say, hey, show me all the customers who live in Chicago and bought something in the last 30 days. It's like a precision search engine for your data.
All right, we have gone through the whole digital toolkit. Now let's see how this all works in the real world. We're going to put this knowledge to the test with a case study and see how a team makes these choices when the pressure's on. So here's our scenario, pulled right from the source material. We've got a student team, and they have 4 different things they need to deliver: a written report, a detailed budget, a final presentation, and a whole bunch of survey responses. This is a classic project with a lot of moving parts.
And here is the perfect solution laid out for us. For that big, text-heavy report, of course, they use a word processor. For the budget and calculating all those survey totals, the spreadsheet is the only logical choice. And those awesome charts they made in the spreadsheet? They go right into the presentation software to help communicate their ideas. See how that works? The output from one tool becomes the input for another. And finally, to manage all that raw survey data, a database gives them the structure and search power they need. They didn't just pick random tools, they built an entire workflow.
So let's wrap this up with the most important takeaways. It's actually pretty simple. When your main job is writing and formatting text, you grab a word processor. When you need to do calculations or find patterns in your data, you open up a spreadsheet. When you need to present your ideas to an audience, you use presentation software. And when you've got to store and search through large amounts of structured data, a database is absolutely the right tool for the job.
And that brings us to one last thing to think about. We've already seen how AI is becoming a little assistant inside all these applications. But as that AI gets smarter and more powerful, you have to wonder, how will the lines between these separate tools start to blur? Will we eventually have one tool that's just smart enough to do it all? Now that's something to keep in mind as you continue building your own professional digital toolkit.